Hi everyone, this is the second part of the video about spirituality and politics, so if you haven't watched the first part, I invite you to watch it first before watching this one. There is an invisible war going on, and this war has been going on for centuries and millennia. It is the eternal battle between light and dark. Now, darkness has been upon our planet for the last 10,000 years, but the time is up because the light is spreading over this planet, and we are entering this time of apocalypse. Apocalypse in Greek means revelation. We have entered a time of great revelation where the shadow is being unmasked. The shadow has had power over this planet for the last 10,000 years, and now that the light is emerging, that people are waking up, the shadow knows that the time is up. And the shadow is putting its last cards on the table, trying to maintain humanity asleep and in a state of ignorance and servility. For millennia there has been a very secret occult power in place on this planet. And I'm not going to get into detail because otherwise I'll be here until tomorrow. But what I will say is that thousands of years ago there were certain entities that decided to separate from source, although it is impossible to really separate from source because all is one. But they have decided to separate from source because they wanted to experience the shadow. So symbolically it's Lucifer, the fallen angel, that separates from source, from unity, and falls into darkness. By experiencing separation from source, these entities thought that they could become gods themselves. And in order to become gods themselves, they had to take power. They had to take control. And that's how the ego was born, the realm of the ego, because the ego sees itself separated from source. These entities have taken over a very universal and esoteric occult knowledge, but they have deviated it from the light. And they have used it to serve their own dark agenda and their own interests. This knowledge comes from the ancient mystery schools of ancient Egypt. Not many people know that this occult knowledge is actually the foundation of the shadow's power on this planet. They have been using this occult knowledge through the use of black magic, for example, to gain more and more control, more and more power, and more money. Behind the official governments there are shadow governments, and within those shadow governments there are things happening that the public is unaware of. And I think if the public knew what was truly happening behind the scenes, there would be a revolution and public lynching in the streets tomorrow. The Pizzagate, for example, is only the tip of the iceberg of a gigantic pedophile, satanic network that exists within the high spheres of power. Children are tortured, they are raped, and they are sacrificed in the name of non-human entities. And it's difficult even to speak about it. And actually 10 years ago there was a report by the French public TV about this, about these pedophile satanic networks that are protected by justice and politics. It was aired once and then it was censored. I think it's still, we can still find it on the net. When we speak about Satanism, it's not about worshipping Satan or the Lord of Darkness or whatever. Because what is the true motto of Satanism? No God but thyself. Or no master, no God, which we can find in some Masonic lodges. So basically these are people who, because they have decided to separate from God, which in fact they cannot really separate because everyone is indivisible from source, from God, these are people who wanted to challenge God and to challenge the power of God, and so they wanted to become gods themselves and gain power themselves. So these are people who usually have suffered immense trauma, that have cut out completely from any human aspect, any light, divine aspect, and any emotion. So they are not people who are able to feel empathy or compassion, and that's why they are able to perpetrate horrible and vile and cruel acts on innocent beings like children. Then they use media, TV, and the entertainment industry to promote hypersexualization and violence and to pervert the youth. Usually they use subliminal messages, but sometimes it's more direct. And just to mention one example, and it's probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life, is the video of Miley Cyrus where she is dressed as a baby and she takes sexual and suggestive poses while she sings "Fuck Me." So this is an open promotion of child abuse. And she is followed by millions of children and young people, and it's just a catastrophe. The ego is never satisfied with what it has. The ego wants always more and more and more. This is why our planet is run by psychopaths that always want more money, more power, and who are ready to destroy completely our home, which is Mother Earth, just for their own interests. These are people who actually think that they can become gods on this planet, and so they seek for total and complete control over this planet. Why am I speaking about all of this? Because the end of this secret occult power is near, and the light is growing on this planet. And soon all these secrets will be revealed, all of what I've just mentioned, and it's already on the way. And as John Lennon has said, we are all the devil inside and we are all Christ inside. And so we have the opportunity to really see both aspects, these two light and dark aspects, and integrate them, and also decide which one we wish to serve. The human being has something extraordinary within him, and that is free will. A human being may have been a sheep asleep all his life, following the herd, and then suddenly there is a spark of light that gushes into his consciousness, and he frees himself from his mental prison. He frees himself from the matrix. Satnam.